Welcome to another Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido, coming to you live June 3rd, Friday, June 3rd. Last day of school for many school districts, including my kids today, and just wanted to give a shout out to all those parents that are taking care of last week of school duties or maybe first week of summer vacation duties. So again, those of you that are watching live on Instagram, go to luxuryfridays.com to type in your question. And again, we come to you each Friday. Each Friday we do live streams at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. Next Friday, the 10th, we'll be doing the same time, same place. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't hit the subscribe button, go to marketingluxurygroup.com, marketingluxurygroup.com on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when we have upcoming Luxury Friday live streams or when there's new releases on our blog or other educational videos. I'll type in a comment right there. Hi, Susan. Yeah, we missed you last week, Susan. We had a great we had a guest last week talking about digital currency, and primarily we were talking about blockchain last week. A little advanced for some people, but overall, I think we got a lot of positive feedback. And again, if you guys have any guests that you think would be any recommendations for guests to our show or a topic you'd like to like us to cover on Luxury Fridays, please don't keep it a secret. Shoot me an email, shoot me a note. I'll type in my email address right now. That's probably the best way for you to let us know. It's just michael@marketingluxurygroup.com, michael@marketingluxurygroup.com. You'll see it on your screen here in a minute. If you're watching a replay, if you're not watching us live, you're watching this as a replay, you can always go to Marketing Luxury Group on YouTube to watch a previous episode. Again, we are going into, I believe, month 6 or 7. We're going into month 7, I believe, of these live streams, and we've had some tremendous feedback. So each week we'll pick a topic. We might bring on a special guest, and we always save time for what we call AMA, Ask Me Anything, all things real estate related. We are streaming on multiple social media platforms, so we have some people that are not licensed real estate agents or broker owners or team leaders that are watching this, and they might be a consumer, someone that's buying a home, selling a home. Please ask your questions as well. Again, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. I'm the author of the book, Luxury Listing Specialist, and I'm the founder of the Lux designation, known as Luxury Specialist. We've hosted 4 live in-person luxury designation trainings so far in 2022, and we're going to be doing a few more, and we're scouting out cities as we speak, and we're really excited. Our next, my next speaking is in Orlando in a few weeks, and then we just got asked to speak at the NAREB conference, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which it's our honor. We spoke a couple years ago in 2019, and we're looking forward to speaking again in the Tampa Bay area. I believe August 3rd is when we're presenting. So again, you are tuning in live here, Luxury Fridays. As I mentioned, I'm your host, and we cover all things real estate. We focus on the luxury space and real estate related, but we cover all things. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but helping your clients, buyers and sellers, save time and save money. We're going to talk about the ultra luxury price point again, and then we're going to talk about historic rates over the last 5 decades. It's still a great time to buy a home and sell a home, and we know interest rates have gone up. We know there's gas prices are through the roof, but interest rates are still historically better than they have been for 4 out of the last 5 decades. It's still a great time to buy a home and sell a home. So we're going to cover that today. Again, if you guys have any questions, do me a favor and just type them in. Hey, Susan, yeah, we know you missed us last week, and we missed you too. So if you are watching, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Again, Luxury Fridays is a open platform, open to all brokerages. We call it brand agnostic. It's open to all brokerages, no matter where you are an agent. And again, this is Luxury Fridays. I'm going to be sharing with you a couple images here in a minute. So I mentioned this before. We are on Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. You're in the right place if you're looking to work smarter, not harder, and you're looking to differentiate yourself. We just released a new educational video. Again, if you go to luxredefined.com, luxredefined.com, you'll see that's where we release educational videos for you as a real estate agent, a broker owner, a team leader, whether you're with the independent or you're with the franchise. I do believe this is one of my favorite quotes of all time, geared towards real estate agents. People would rather do business with someone that they like and they trust rather than someone they don't, even if that likable person is offering a lower quality product and service at a higher price. So we teach agents to offer a higher quality product and service, but be likable. Be likable. All right. So I want to talk about today, and I want to really kind of focus on this right now. And this is straight from Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac released this, and over the last 5 decades, and let me make this a little bit bigger. I hope this is a little bit bigger for you. Over the last 5 decades, this is the average interest rates over the last 5 decades. So take a look at this. I'm going to not talk for a minute so you guys can read. All right, so perfect. So I want you guys to be able to see this. This is a slide that I think is really important. Going back from the 1970s, over that decade, the average interest rate for a purchaser to buy a home or townhouse condo was just under 9% for the decade. Sure, it was as low as probably 7, as high as 11, but the average. In the 1980s, the average was 12.7%. In the 1990s, 8.12. I bought my first place in 1998. A Briarcliff townhouse in Wheaton, Illinois. My interest rate, I believe, was 6.5 or 6.75, but the average in the 90s was 8.12. The average in the 2000s was 6.27. And then the average from 2010 to 2020 was a little over 4 because the past 3 or 4 years have been so low. So historically speaking, we are in an amazing interest rate still, and that's really what you focus on when you're talking to a buyer or if you're talking to a seller. So I really want you to digest this. If you want to take a picture of this image, let me know. Again, my email is michael@marketingluxurygroup.com. I'll show it to you here, michael@marketingluxurygroup.com. And let me put that on the screen. You can always shoot me an email if you want, and we'd be happy to send you this image as well. Michael@marketingluxurygroup.com. So historically speaking, an amazing time to buy a home and sell a home. Now you might say, well, Mike, you're talking interest rates. Why is it a great time to sell a home? Well, nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball with what the market's going to bear in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half. And so when I talk about it's a great time to sell, because if rates do go way higher, then as a seller, you have less potential buyers that are qualified to buy your home. So that's why it's still a great time to sell a home. Now, the cost of not buying, the cost of not selling will also affect you. So I literally was at an event yesterday, and you as an agent, I want to cover this objection. You as an agent, your job is to educate, give as much information to your clients so that it can make a sound decision, right? That's really what our job as professionals, as specialists, our job is to give as much information to the consumer so they can make a sound decision, whether it's a good time to buy, whether it's a good time to sell, whether that house is the perfect house for them and their family. I'll never forget, I was working with a client who wanted to buy a home that backed up to a pond or an open field. And she called me one day and said, "This is the house. I want to go see it." She sent me the link. I looked on Google Earth and it backed up to a little bit of an open area off to the distance, but really backed up to another home. So I told her, I said, "Listen, based on everything you've told me, you wanted a home that, you know, that basically back to an open area. And I'm looking on Google Earth. It doesn't appear that that's the case." She goes, "I still want to see it." And guess what? She bought it. But my job was to remind her of her wants and her needs. And ultimately, it's up to them to pull, whether or not they want to purchase the property. And so one of the objections that you as an agent might be receiving today would be, "I'm going to wait for the market to change to a buyer's market." So in other words, a buyer doesn't want to pull the trigger because there's still maybe a shortage of inventory. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till I purchase. And so I have data, and I wish I could get this in a digital version, and I'll work on getting this maybe for next week. But the cost of waiting. And so I have a graph. I know you can't really see it right here. But I have a graph that I was at an event yesterday, and this company handed it out. I thought it was very good. But I have this graph that basically says the cost of waiting. Okay, the cost of waiting. Now, in this example, it's for DuPage County, which is the county I live in, for a $645,000 home. Below is an example on a 10% down conventional purchase for a $645,000 home in DuPage County. Home values are forecast to continue to rise due to national housing inventory being 300% lower than the historical average and the formation of 21 million new households over the next 14 years. So basically, they've projected over the next 3 years this data, and this is data from, I don't know who provided this data, but the MBA, based on Mortgage Broker Association forecast. It projects interest rates over the next 3 years and appreciation values of homes over the next 3 years. So even though to get a loan today in my county on a 30-year loan, putting 10% down would be called mid fives, 5.5%. If you were to wait and interest rates go up in a year, like they're projected to maybe go up to 5.875, that $645,000 home, if you purchased it at today's rates, in a year, if home appreciates at 3%, 3% in a year would be $687,000. So the home would appreciate by over $40,000. In 2 years, that same $645,000 home would go up in value based on appreciation projections. And in 3 years, that home would be literally projected to be over $120,000 more than it is today. So even though interest rates might go up, you are going to be, based on the appreciation of the home, the projection in this example of over $120,000, you are going to be paying far less than that house appreciated. So again, the cost of waiting, having information like this, okay, if I'm going to wait, okay, having information like this helps you as an agent go over various examples, go over different projections, go over what if scenarios. At the end of the day, life, though, is what drives hopefully somebody's desire to buy that example of $645,000 home. Somebody's getting married, somebody's downsizing, somebody's relocating to the area, somebody got a promotion, somebody got a demotion. I was talking to another friend yesterday, and he had a dream house of his, and they recently sold it. They downsized. He's renting, but the cost of ownership, the stress on them wasn't worth it. So they downsized. Okay. So that's what drives real estate. People downsizing, people moving up, people expecting, people getting divorced. And ultimately, interest rates do affect it. Does consumer confidence affect things? Sure, it does. Does what's happening with Ukraine or at the gas pump? Sure, it does. But ultimately, life is what drives real estate. And that's really important for you to remember. And that's what I wanted to cover in this segment is life is what drives real estate. So remember that. Remember that. And then remember the historic data. Remember the historic data that I just showed you. For those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Michael LaFido. I'm the author of the book, Luxury Listing Specialist, and I'm the founder of the Lux designation. And we just covered this slide here, which I'll put on the screen again, talking about historical data. Interest rates historically have been, over the last 5 decades, over the last 50 years, historically speaking, the average has been well above 7.5%, 8%, and we're still historically at an amazing interest rate right now, hovering in the mid fives. So just wanted to reiterate that to you. It's really important for you as an agent, as a team leader, as a broker owner, to be educated so you can help navigate your clients through the process. If you're watching this and you're a consumer and you have a question, by all means, let us know. We are happy to give free second opinions. And as always, if you as an agent have a question, we'd love to bring you on. Literally, I posted it in the comment sections, but if you go to streamyard.com/ all these goofy numbers and letters, I can bring you on the screen. You can ask your question. We'd love to do that. We don't have any slated guests for this week, although we did invite agents that attended our most recent luxury designation training 3 weeks ago. We did send out this invite, so we might be getting some guests unexpected, and that's always encouraged. Again, we'd love to hear from you. You can type your questions in no matter what platform you're watching this. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can type your question in on Instagram, but I might not get to it. So that's where I'd encourage you to go to luxuryfridays.com and click on the live stream link, the top link, and we'll bring you on camera, or you can type in your question there. All right. Again, if you have a stale listing, if you have a listing where you're doing price reductions or the seller's on you about what are you going to do to get our house sold, this would be a time to drop in that link, a direct link where I can pull it up on live stream and take a look at the photos and the description. That would be something that we would call our fresh eyes analysis or our SWOT analysis. I'll let you know what the strengths are. I'll let you know what the weaknesses are. Okay, what opportunities there might be for you to market the home, and what are the threats. Recently, last night I was at a good friend of mine's surprise birthday party, Phil the Flash Adler, and at that, one of my old coaches said, "Oh, hey, I'm selling a house much smaller than what you usually sell, and it's way out of the area." And he said, "But we just reduced the price." I said, "I'd be happy to give it a quick fresh eyes analysis." So he pulled up it on Realtor.com or some website like that. I looked at the photos, and I gave some tips and suggestions, and his agent looked like she was doing a great job. So again, that is what our job is to do, is continue to raise the bar. Don't play morning quarterback. Build others up. Make things so easy. Put things on a silver platter. Again, one of the things I'm always talking about to my team members or our staff is, people are busy. They forget about emails. So we got to follow up with people, and you got to put everything on a silver platter. So if they're filling out a listing agreement, they're filling out disclosures, you got to try to make it as easy and least amount of stress for that consumer, for another agent as possible. Again, time is money, and you want to save people time and energy. This is one of the things that I like talking about as well, is our job is to save clients time and money. And this was a quote I saw recently, and it just was, I think, hit the nail on the head for today's show, where I wanted to bring it up. So I put it on a slide this morning in preparation for today's training. But wealthy people spend money to save time. People that are not wealthy, they spend time to save money, right? They'll drive an extra few miles to save 5 cents on gas or whatever it might be. But wealthy people, time is important to them. Okay. So when you are a better marketer, when you're a more experienced agent, you can save them time, which of course will save them money. So that is something that, you want to remember. Saving time and saving money for your consumers is really important. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Susan, anybody else want to pop on the screen? We love guests. It breaks it up, so it's not just me talking the whole time. AMA, ask me anything, we'll pull you on. We don't have any scheduled guests this week, although next week we hope to. Next week we're going to be covering photography a lot, some things that you as an agent can do to change up your photography, and that's something that I highly recommend. You take a fresh new look at your photos. So again, if you have any questions, ask them. The next thing I want to cover today is, in a hot market, you will see more people looking at maybe selling for sale by owner. So you as an agent, what can you do to bring value to a for sale by owner when the other realtors in town say, hey, here's my call, here's my card, call me when you're ready to list. So what are some things you can differentiate yourself? Again, what keeps that for sale by owner awake at night? What's the most listened to radio station that for sale by owner listens to? Remember that? We've talked about that in the past. Anybody? What's the most listened to radio station that the consumer listens to? It's a trick question. Those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, if you haven't heard me present in the past, we talk about the most listened to radio station that the consumer listens to is WIIFM. What's in it for them? For them. Okay. WIIFM. The M stands for me, not me, but them. That's how they talk to themselves. So if I'm selling by owner, what keeps me awake at night? Getting my home sold. I want to make sure nobody scams me. I don't want unqualified buyers through here. I want to make sure I'm not opening myself up liability. So if you can put together a package of information, I have a newly licensed team member. Again, we have a large group in all 50 states. We can bring on team members in 21 countries. If you're interested, you can go to joinluxgroup.com, joinluxgroup.com. You can see it on your screen right now. But if you go to joinluxgroup.com, you can reach out to us. But I have a newer agent. When I say newer, he's been licensed for a month. He just moved to Nashville, Tennessee, didn't know anybody except his girlfriend. And I talked to him about this concept earlier this week. The for sale by owner first aid kit. Put together a folder, a packet of information that for sale by owners would need. Could be property disclosures. In this case for Tennessee, Connor's got to put together property disclosures. Put together a list of references, photographers, stagers, home inspectors, things that a home seller, resources and businesses that a home seller will need access to. Put that together. Address the elephant in the room. Captain Obvious, hotels.com. Address the elephant in the room. Mr. Seller, you're probably wondering why I'm giving you this information when many agents are just giving you their card and saying, call me when you're ready to list. Well, the elephant in the room, Captain Obvious, is I want to provide so much value because guess what? You might know somebody else who is thinking of selling and they don't want to sell by owner. And so they want to interview a real estate agent. And you might say, you know what? Connor or Mike did such a great job. They provided us so much value and they didn't want anything in return. You might consider interviewing them, Mr. Seller. So again, address the elephant in the room. So for sale by owner is a way to differentiate yourself. I hope this has been valuable to you. Many people look at by owners as being anti-real estate agents. Well, maybe they had a bad experience, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just trying to save some money, and you can't fault them for that. All right. Again, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Am I hearing any fears of foreclosures coming? Yes, foreclosures are at an all-time low, according to my friends over at Keeping Current Matters. Uh, they provide some really great data. I'm going to try to pull their stuff on the screen here in a minute. That's a great question. And let me see. Yep. This is my friends. I'm going to pull this up. That's a great question here. So I'm going to pull this on screen. If I'm seeing up, here we go. Let me see. My goodness, why is this doing this? All right, cost of waiting to buy a home slide. Here we go. Oh, this is perfect. So these are my good friends at Keeping Current Matters. If you don't know them, I'm going to put them on the screen right now. Try kcm.com, but I'm going to share this screen here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. But they offer some great stuff on foreclosures as well. So this is a good infographic that they put together, the cost of waiting to buy a home. If you're buying a $200,000 home and interest rates go up 0.5%, your monthly payment is going to go up $171, even if you wait. And so buy now, because even if rates go up and the house goes up in value, you're going to be paying more. Okay. So they have different ones. The cost of waiting for an $800,000 home. That the cost per month goes up significantly. So the cost of waiting. I want to show you another slide from them that was pretty good. All right, where are we at here? All right, so you're talking about interest and foreclosures. You asked me if foreclosures are going up. All right, so let me show you that. There we go, blog post. They have some really good data here. And this is a great one too, by the way. This came out today. Home prices during the last 6 recessions. Okay, home prices. Home prices tend to go up during recessions. If we are going to have a recession right now, right? So early on during the pandemic in March and April and May of 2020, house prices went up across the country on average 6% during that time. Okay. In 2008, that was a terrible time. Home prices went down by 20%. So having good data is really important. And so getting back to your question, Susan, right now, historically speaking, there is a really low on foreclosures. They're all-time low. But when it's an all-time low, you're going to see them go up. They're going to go up. People are going to start to be behind on payment. They overpaying for homes, that sort of thing. So you'll see that. You'll see that pop up for sure. All right. What other questions? That's a great question, Susan. Thank you for asking that. Again, same time, same place, guys. You see it going down underneath your screen, luxuryfridays.com. Every Friday, again, exceptions to the rule if I'm traveling, that sort of thing. But we are doing some fun topics in the upcoming weeks. I just released a new podcast today. I just released a new podcast, which I want to cover with you. And let me cover that with you real quick. We just had Teresa Bow on, and I want to cover that. All right. So we just had Teresa on. I'm pulling her on right here. Again, our podcast is just, you can just go to luxurylistingpodcast.com, luxurylistingpodcast.com, and you will see this is our most recent. And I like bringing this up because there's important topics to be covered. So Teresa Bowe talked about the barriers that she faced breaking into luxury as a woman and a woman of color. Well, we all have barriers unless you were raised in a country club atmosphere and you come from wealth. Your barrier of entry is a lot less. You're to use a baseball analogy, you might be on third base where some people are in the dugout starting out, and that's okay. But if you're in the dugout, you still can do it. Many people fill in the blank. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have a backdrop of maybe why it might be more difficult. And she shares how it was difficult for her. It's a great episode. You can check that out by going to luxurylistingpodcast.com. I'll type that in, luxurylistingpodcast.com, and you can literally listen to previous episodes. Boom, luxurylistingpodcast.com. All right. There you go. So Teresa Bowe, she was excellent. She talked about confidence is key. I talk about confidence all the time. I say grow your knowledge and your confidence will grow. And she talked a lot about that as well. Confidence is key. You give me someone that's confident, they'll do some prospecting, some lead generation. They'll have the conversations. Again, shy real estate agents have skinny kids. You can't be shy in this industry. You got to let people know what you do for a living. As I mentioned, I went to my buddy's surprise birthday party yesterday. I met a new person. We were talking, and he said, "Oh, I live on Cove Lane." I said, "Cove Lane." I said, "Which house are you on? Are you on the second house on the right?" The reason I brought that up is because it recently sold a couple years back, and my wife and I were thinking about seeing that one. He goes, "No, I'm on the first house on the left on the pond." I go, "Did you?" I said, "I sold. I was a listing agent on that. Sold for $950 a couple of years back." He goes, "Yeah." So we're talking, and then he discloses how he's thinking about selling in the near future. And I gave him my card, and you just don't know, but you start conversations. You can't be afraid to talk to people. Again, some people don't like the way they listen. They don't like the way they sound. They don't like leaving voicemails because they're, so you got to just get out of your comfort zone. Get out of it. Just do it. Okay. That's how you break out of your comfort zone, is by doing it. Sure, role play, practice, build up your knowledge. That's all going to help. But sometimes you got to just pull the Band-Aid off and do it. Okay. All right. Any other questions on today's show? We don't have any guests today. We don't have any questions right now. So I want to make sure for us to, I want to pull up my Luxury Friday. Somebody asked me about Luxury Friday, so let me answer that. Luxury Fridays, when you go to Luxury Fridays, your screen will look like this right now. It will look like this. And let me get this off of here. And you'll always see the top link. Today it says Luxury Fridays live on YouTube, June 3rd. I put the time, 11 a.m. Central. Okay. I have my friend Trey Scott's medical expenses. I want to bring that up again. A good friend of mine, Trey Scott, he needs, I believe, a heart transplant. Whatever it is, it's not good. And so there's a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. If Trey was on my podcast before. Let me show you that. So I had Teresa Bowe. She was episode 192. Trey Scott was episode 190. Okay. He was episode 190. Make sure you listen to Trey. It's a great story. And he's leaving a legacy, and Trey's going to beat this. He's got a heart of gold. And then my most recent guest was Teresa. But if you go to linktree.com, that's what the Helping Trey Scott is. If you want to hear more about our Lux Group, you can click there. If you want to hear about our designation, if you want to hear where I'm speaking next, I'm speaking in Orlando here in a few weeks. And then looks like I'm presenting at NAREB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And there's some gear there. I just ordered some more gear myself. If you go to luxuryspecialsgear.com, One of my favorite t-shirts is our location shirt, and I just ordered another white one and black one from the website, the location t-shirt. So you can click on this and, oh, I don't want blue, I don't want black, I want navy blue, or I want charcoal gray. This is our most popular product, is our just luxury special shirt, but I like the location one myself, and I also like the American luxury shirt, the American luxury shirt. So anyways, you can always check that out. That's our luxury specialist gear website, and you can find that right on luxuryfridays.com. Again, thank you for looking forward to our podcast. Again, we just released our 194th. So our 200 podcast is coming up. I'm looking to bring on a really special guest for episode 200. I've been reaching out to him. He's hard to get a hold of. So fingers crossed, that will be episode 200 will be released in July. So we want to have a big celebration for episode 200. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Again, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Every Friday, we either bring on a guest, we talk about topics. Today, we talked about historic low interest rates. We talked about saving time, clients' time and money. High net worth individuals spend money to save time. Okay, they'll spend more to bring on a specialist. I just showed a $7 million home this week, and that buyer is interested in maybe getting quotes to knock down walls and spray all the old honey oak millwork throughout the home. And again, saving time is more important than saving money to a lot of individuals. I like saving them time and money. So there you go. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up unless we have a question here, because I don't want to just talk to talk. We covered our topics today. Our podcasts are typically 25 to 30 minutes in length. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. If you're getting value from today's or previous episode or previous Luxury Fridays, or Susan, if you're getting value from our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review if we've earned it. Just like you guys, if you've done a great job for a client, don't be afraid to ask for a review if you feel like you deserve it. All right, we got a question here. Cameron, appreciate it. Where are you out of, Cameron? Please type that in. Please type in how long you've been licensed for, or better yet, Cameron, I'll type in this this link here. Click on the link if you're watching. It should be a hyperlink, or copy and paste it, and I'll bring you on camera and we'll talk about that. Great question. I get this asked. One of my top 3 to 5 questions I always get asked is, how do I break into luxury? Do I have to go step by step in different price brackets first? The answer is no. The answer is no. So let me pull on my screen here something. Oh, hopefully you guys can't see that. I showed this a couple weeks back, and now maybe you can see this. My screen. Yes. So Cameron, a few weeks back, we covered this. I believe that there's 4 primary price points in most markets, and in some markets, there's that 5th price point, or buckets. Bucket number 1 is starter price point, or entry level. Bucket number 2 is what we call the average price point. Every market's got an average price point. Bucket number 3 is what we call high end, and we define a high end home or condo, because there's different price points for condos, vertical living, than there are single family. So the 3rd bucket is what we call high end, and we define a high end home or condo or townhouse as a property that is 2 times the average sale price for that given market. That's bucket number 3. Again, 2x. So if the average price point is $400,000, $800,000 for that market would be a high end home. And we define a luxury home as a home that is 3 times that average sale price, 3 times. Okay. So 400 times 3 would be 1.2 million. In some markets, there's a 5th bucket, and we define that bucket as 10x. A ultra luxury home is a home that is 10 times the average price point, 10 times the average price point. So to break into luxury, you don't have to go from bucket number one to bucket number two to bucket 3, 4, 5. That's probably what a lot of agents have done. That's what a lot of trainers or broker owners teach you to do. That's not what you can do. So, to make your question, to give you a short answer, bottom line is you got to be a student of the game, grow your knowledge, grow your confidence. What are you listening to? Go to other people's broker open houses. Go to other people's open houses, work other people's open houses in some of those price points. If there was ever an easy button with luxury real estate, and by the way, there isn't, but the quickest, that was easy, or simplest thing to an easy button would be leveraging other people's properties, work other people's open houses until you have those types of clientele for yourself. That's a great question, Cameron. Great question. And we cover that each week. We'll give you other nuggets and tips to do that. Carlene, thank you for that compliment. So Cameron, you are in the greater Daytona, greater Orlando market. By the way, I might be coming down to Orlando for an event in 3 weeks, but I'm definitely going down there. I'm going to be speaking at the EXP Mid-Year Shareholders Conference, leading a training on luxury, but I might be doing an outside event, which reminds me, I got to follow up with my friends about that outside event. So I will keep you posted if I'm going to be coming down by you. We have courses approved in Florida for continuing education. I'm going to be coming down to Florida again in August as well. So really good question. The simple answer is no, you don't have to go from bucket number one to bucket number two, bucket number three. Grow your knowledge, be more confident, leverage the sales, leverage the successes of other agents in your brokerage. If they've sold those trophy properties, those high-end properties, they just listed those properties, get their permission, of course, to do so. Great question. Another great question from Susan. Susan asked, Michael, as you are moving up into luxury marketing, does your marketing budget move up too? Are there tips for budgeting for luxury marketing items? So to keep it really simple, you get money coming in, whether you're selling entry level, average price, store some of that away, right? For a rainy day or whatever, pay, your savings account, but then also create a marketing budget. And if you sell a lot of homes in the bucket number one, bucket number two, you might take some of that money to invest in getting in front of more high-end clients, maybe through a postcard. I just pulled out a postcard today. You might do a postcard mailing to a neighborhood. This says nobody sells Wheaton luxury homes like we do. It was a just listed and a just sold with my contact information on there. And then on the back side of the postcard, it was recent sales. Sold, highest sale price ever in Wheaton. Sold, highest sale price since 2020 in Naperville. Sold and sold. And my point is, you could do a mailer to a neighborhood that is higher price point neighborhood. But if you take some of that money that you stocked away, Susan, you can invest in yourself. Okay. So that's a great question. Invest in branding, invest in your website, invest in maybe a new headshot, invest in some circle prospecting. Great questions. So my name is Michael LaFido. You guys are asking some awesome questions, and it took about 35, 40 minutes for some really deep, good questions. And sometimes that happens because we have people popping in and out throughout our broadcast. So if you are just popping in, please ask a question. My name is Michael LaFido. You're watching Luxury Fridays. I'm your host. I'm also the host of the podcast called Luxury Listing Specialists. We just released our 194th podcast. And we're excited about that. We're excited about our trainings. We're doing trainings all over the country again. And if you are interested in maybe having me come out and do a training in your market, shoot me a note, shoot me an email. I'll throw my email on the screen again. My email is real simple. It's just michael@marketingluxurygroup.com, michael@marketingluxurygroup. And that's the best way to get a hold of us. You can shoot me a note here as well. You can send me a private message as well. So really good information, guys. Some great questions. I appreciate it. As always, keep raising the bar in the industry. As we go into June, it's hard to believe we're in June already. It is a prime time to sell. It's a prime time to buy. Keep working hard. Stay positive. And guys, stay classy. Stay classy. Don't talk about other real estate agents. When you are successful, you'll have a bullseye on your back. People will try to target you, and they might try to bring you down behind your back, but you stay classy, you build others up, make somebody's day. And remember, love is love. We're in Pride Month. And let me pull this up here. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna drop. I'm going to give me 1 second here, guys. I want to show you a website because I got to figure out where I am. There we go. Hold on 1 second here. I am going to pull something up on the screen here. Ask any questions. This would be a great time to ask. I'm going to drop in a URL. I'm going to drop in a URL here, and I'm going to have a guest on here this month. I'm really excited. But if you as a real estate agent, you're looking to differentiate, you're looking to associate with agents that maybe you've never met before. Again, best practices. If you don't have a scarcity mindset, then you should consider joining this organization and other organizations just like it. So I am a member of NAREB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I'm excited to be speaking at their conference in August. I'm a member of NAREP, National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. I'm a member of the LGBTQ Alliance, and this is Pride Month. And you should consider joining. For example, do you realize in 28 states, it's still legal for an agent or a landlord to discriminate based on somebody's sexual preference and orientation, which I think is dead wrong. So my good friend Ryan at LGBTQ Alliance, he spoke at my event that I had a few weeks ago, and we're going to try to get him on our show. And you guys can just go to realestatealliance.org. It is Pride Month, and I do believe love is love. And they have partner programs. They have a big conference in September. I was asked to speak at their event last year, but it got canceled because of COVID numbers. But I did speak at their conference in December. So I wanted to share with that, and I'm going to get a guest on from the Alliance. But you should consider joining organizations like this to grow your knowledge, grow your referring partners, differentiate yourself, give back for some really important initiatives. I wanted to make sure we covered that because it is Pride Month, and we're working on some great initiatives as well. So we are really excited to be here for another Luxury Fridays. You guys were awesome. Thank you for commenting and contributing, Susan and Carlene. I appreciate that. And Cameron, some great questions. You guys were great. Again, my name is Michael LaFido. Feel free to go to joinluxgroup.com, joinluxgroup.com. And we have a lot of great resources on there. And we're always trying to bring more value to our agents, to the industry, no matter how long you've been licensed, no matter who you're licensed with. Again, my name is Michael LaFido, and keep raising the bar in the industry. And I appreciate what you guys are doing, and we'll see you next week. Until next time, Michael LaFido, take care.